Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Welcome back. And those of you that are new, welcome. I was on President Trump's Truth Social page, checking out some of his, he calls Agenda 47, being the 47th president he's trying to run for, and some of the agenda items. And I got to tell you, honestly, if anybody else was giving this speech, you would get 60, 70, maybe even higher percent of the American people go along with it. But the problem is, since it comes from Trump, 45% automatically disregard it. I used to kid around when I was a local elected official here in upstate New York in the early 2000s that I could come up with the formula for cold fusion and the opposition party would turn it down because it came from me. But I suggest you go check it out. But here's one of the Agenda 47 videos. Let's check it out, and we'll comment along the way.
We have never been closer to World War III than we are today under Joe Biden. A global conflict between nuclear-armed powers would mean death and destruction on a scale unmatched in human history. It would be nuclear Armageddon. Nothing is more important than avoiding that nightmare. We will avoid it, but we need new leadership. Every day this proxy battle in Ukraine continues, we risk global war. We must be absolutely clear that our objective is to immediately have a total cessation of hostilities. All shooting has to stop. This is the central issue. We need peace without delay. In addition, there must also be a complete commitment to dismantling the entire globalist neocon establishment that is perpetually dragging us into endless wars, pretending to fight for freedom and democracy abroad.
And there you have it. There you have it. Endless wars. Endless wars. I mean, we have such a huge deficit now, and the vast majority of it in the last 20 years has been from endless wars. Wars with no end. And then, even after we leave, i.e. Afghanistan, it ends up worse than when we started. We changed millions of hearts and minds in Afghanistan. There's some people there, they were 10 years old when the Americans came in. Now in their early 30s. And we left all of them to rot. And we've done that over and over and over. We did it in Vietnam, for those of you that are a little bit older, if you remember. The people that were trying to get to the embassy to the helicopters, those were Vietnamese whose hearts and minds we changed. And we left them for dead. And we've done it over and over and over. And all it does is spill blood, cost tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of lives, and spends trillions of dollars that we don't have. Only a fool will do the same thing over and over with a bad result and continue to do it. He's right. There is a neocon globalist ideal of these endless wars, and it's always the United States that has to put our blood and treasure on the line. Always. And he's going against some powerful forces. 99% of the Democrat Party and 50% of the Republican Party. He was like that in 2016 and 20. He's been saying this for decades. Let's listen on.
While they turn us into a third world country and a third world dictatorship right here at home. The State Department, the defense bureaucracy, the intelligence services, and all of the rest need to be completely overhauled and reconstituted to fire the deep staters and put America first.
And there you have it. Whether you agree with Trump or not, whether you even like him or hate him or somewhere in between, our country is being controlled by, and it has been for a long time. I'm 66. Before I was born in 1956, by unnamed, faceless, unelected bureaucrats. Look at the EPA. Look at the DEA. They're making rules about firearms. They're making rules about environmental laws as they go along without legislative approval. Changing everything, any topic that you want to pick, Department of Education, Department of Energy. They're making their agenda known through their bureaucratic initiatives without approval from the American people, i.e. their elected officials. Faceless, nameless bureaucrats are really running this. It's a Herculean task, and I'll tell you the truth. I don't know if I was President Trump whether I want to go through this again, but I give him credit for trying.
We have to put America first. Finally, we have to finish the process we began under my administration of fundamentally reevaluating NATO's purpose and NATO's mission. Our foreign policy establishment keeps trying to pull the world into conflict with a nuclear-armed Russia based on the lie that Russia represents our greatest threat. But the greatest threat to Western civilization today is not Russia. It's probably, more than anything else, ourselves and some of the horrible USA-hating people that represent us. It's the abolition of our national borders. It's the failure to police our own cities. It's the destruction of the rule of law from within. It's the collapse of the nuclear family and fertility rates like nobody can believe is happening.
Every great civilization, whether it be the Roman Empire, we'll say Napoleon, mostly the Roman Empire, the American Empire, the British Empire, we can go through the whole list. Every single one of those did not get beat militarily. They destroyed themselves from within. Same with Russia. It destroyed itself from within. We can go on and list throughout history. History doesn't repeat itself, but it certainly does rhyme. And I don't want to be the generation that sees the American experiment, the American enterprise, destroy itself from within. Whether you like Donald Trump or not, he's telling you the truth. He's telling you the truth. And we have huge percentages of young people and older people as well, but mostly young people that hate this country and think it's evil. That's insane. That's insanity on a level that I can't even tell you. Are we perfect? No. But if we were so bad, why are hundreds of millions of people over the years trying to do everything they can and risk their lives and their children's lives to get here? If we're so bad, then they must be stupid, but they're not stupid because they see it. And if you live outside the United States and you want a brighter future, you see America, as Reagan called, the shining city on the hill. It's true, and we still are. And we're just too stupid to see it.
It's the Marxists who would have us become a godless nation worshiping at the altar of race and gender and environment. And it's the globalist class that has made us totally dependent on China and other foreign countries that basically hate us. These globalists want to squander all of America's strength, blood, and treasure, chasing monsters and phantoms overseas.
Yeah, that's the long and the short of it. Why are we giving billions and trillions of dollars to people that hate us? They can hate us for free,
while keeping us distracted from the havoc they're creating right here at home. These forces are doing more damage to America than Russia and China could ever have dreamed. Evicting this sick and corrupt establishment is the monumental task for the next president. And I am the only one who can do it. I'm the only one that can get the job done. I know exactly what has to be done.
Yes, he knows exactly what has to be done. And this is one thing I'll give Donald Trump. Far, far, far from a perfect person. A lot of character personality flaws, which I really don't care. He reminds me of House, the TV show. Nobody cares if he's an SOB in the House TV show. He saves my son. He saves my wife. He saves my husband or daughter. He's the only one that can. Nobody cares about his personality. It's result oriented. It's just amazing to me. Any one of these things said by some other politician or elected official would be 60-70% approval. But since it comes from Trump, 40-45% automatically dismiss it as craziness. And there you have it. It's there's quite a few agenda videos on Truth Social. I suggest you go to Truth Social to check out some of the Trump agenda items. And they're very well done. They're very well done. Anybody that thinks that we can have to control our borders and screen people that come in here, if they're against that, there's something wrong with them. We've always had that. There's laws on the books now. I believe that unlawful, illegal migration into this country is one of our biggest threats, besides the economic disaster from China we allowed to happen, from pharmaceuticals to manufacturing to cars to planes to everything under the sun. We were the manufacturing hub of the world for a long time, and we sold that out. And they sold our American people out. My generation and the previous generation. I'm on the end of the baby boomers. I was born in 1956. And unfortunately for me, I've seen since I was a young boy all the way through adulthood and now as a senior, I've seen what's happened to our country. Drop by drop and piece by piece become dismantled. Now we're arguing from within. Now we have all kinds of craziness going on in college campuses. You can't even speak anymore. The list is endless. It has to stop. It has to stop. Whether you like Donald Trump's personality or hate it, what his agenda is something we've been talking about for decades. And just because it comes from Trump doesn't mean it's wrong. Think about that when you vote in the primaries in the next coming year, and if he wins the nomination in the general election. It's not the man, it's the message. Don't forget that. Use your head and not your heart. Until the next time, goodbye and good luck.